Hi, welcome to my forgettable channel. If you clicked on this video, I'd assume you either know what Half-Life is or you're lost. But anyway, have you ever seen Half-Life 1 high-definition models? If so, you might have noticed how hated they are and how they look disgusting to play with. But are they? I will be reviewing some of the models in the official Half-Life 1 high-definition pack and comparing them to the original models to see if they are all that bad. But what is the high-definition model pack, you may ask? Well, in short, it's the HD models. Why were they made? I'm not too sure myself, but they were shipped alongside Half-Life 1's second PC expansion Blue Shift, and might have been intended to overhaul the game visuals. This may or may not be one of the reasons why people seem to dislike Blue Shift so much. But why don't we go straight to the point? As a game design understander, I'm going to review, compare, and dictate whether the HD model pack is actually hideous or not. At the start, why don't we take a look at the most iconic NPCs? The scientists. To be honest, the models are pretty decent and look like they'd fit perfectly into the game. Einstein is a bit clown looking, but that doesn't bother me much. Kleiner and Luther look as you'd expect, and Slick look like someone's dad who works at some weird corporation, but that's alright. Something I really like about the models is the ID cards, which, although barely visible, have their corresponding photos, which is pretty neat. Moving on, we have Barney, and I really like the model. His face looks like someone who doesn't know what the science team is talking about most of the time, but knows how to do his job. However, what broke me with this model was the mouth, which, despite being fully modeled for some reason, isn't used. Instead, having this lift stretch whenever he talks, just yuck. Now, what I didn't like was G-Man, and words just don't do justice to that face. As for the rest of the model, he looks mostly off, and I think it's the clothes that seem a bit messy, which, knowing who this man is, you can tell why it looks off. Plus, his case doesn't have anything inside unlike the original model that does. But since he's supposed to be a uncanny, not quite human type of character, this model got it right. Looking now at the human grunts, all things considered, the models look good and do remind you of army men. Although, I kinda miss the more bulky and muscular-like look of the low-definition models. The weapons look like their real model counterparts, which we are going to look at later. The shotgun grunt looks as you'd expect. The cigar grunt, however, look at this man. He looks more Chinese than what he's supposed to be, and he just lost what made him the most unique, his big-ass cigar. Not to mention, he's not really distinguishable from the commander, which doesn't seem like much, but I want to remind you that the cigar grunt is the only one that uses the amplified grenades, and oh how he uses it. So not being able to distinguish him quickly gives him time to just direct hit you with the amplified grenade, most of the time being an insta-kill from corners, so take that as you will. I'm not sure why, but Headcrabs and some other models didn't really use their HD counterpart. I want to clarify that I'm using the default HD models Valve ships with the game, which can be enabled through the settings menu, so apologies if your favorite model didn't appear in this list. Now the zombie. Here's where things went bad. I assume you can see the HD headcrab up there in all of its copy and paste glory. And as gross as it seems, it gets worse. Not only is the iconic skull in the headcrab's face gone, but the model looks mangled in a way. What the fuck is this green shit? Why is a tube going through his left arm? Why does his mouth look like... I wanted to say it gets better from here, but the aliens were just done dirty in this HD pack. The hound eye, which always looked like a piece of ham, nothing new there, had only one thing changed, which ruins it for me. Why? Why the teeth? It's clearly a beak on the low definition model. Why did Gearbox give it teeth? The barnacle I feel something different, but I can't quite tell what. Now, the bull squid seems like they knew how to start, but messed up on the way there. His body is exactly what I imagined to be, but the mouth and the tip of the tail, I'd rate him a 5 out of 10. It's salvageable. Now, moving on to the absolute most mangled model, in my opinion, the Vortigaunt. My man has seen better days. Like, what the hell happened to this model? Did they just give up? Compared to the original, which was meant to look like an alien, something this model does not do, this thing just looks like a dirty goblin with hooves. Now moving on to a less horrid view, we have the alien grunt, which honestly looks as you'd expect, but I can't quite help but feel that he looks rather uncanny, disconnected from the original design, from the angles resembling a baby wearing a diaper and, well, we will soon get to the hive hand. Moving now to the weapons, which I will not talk about all of them, but I will mention the worst and the best models in my opinion, which before we start, I just want to say that I'm not a fan of the arms. If I ever have to use the HD models, I'm downloading a version without the HV arms. Jesus Christ, they're awful. For the first weapon we have the oh so memorable crowbar. Now looking more like a piece of plastic chewed at the tip, I like the original one much more because it just looks more cleaner and visually pleasing to me. Now the MP5 or rather the M4, why the change? I have no idea, but it doesn't fit here, much less sharing ammo with a 9mm pistol. I still prefer the MP5 over it, regardless if the grenade launcher makes sense or not. The M4 just doesn't feel powerful. Now for the spas. At least in my opinion, this is just criminal. I hate that stock. That ugly, stupid stock. I'm not a big fan of spas 12s with stocks, but the whole gun honestly looks like a toy. Besides the sounds that were changed, making it sound kind of underpowered. Now moving on to the alien arsenal, the Hornet gun. I can guess what they were trying to do, but I believe the original was meant to combine some more metallic looking parts merged into some poor creature. This one just looks like something out of the thing. Ew. Last but not least, the Snark. I'm not a fan of the antenna, and the HD nest looks out of place in this universe. Now, for the weapons that I liked, we have the almighty crossbow. Despite the scope being quite tiny, this is still a perfect translation of the low definition crossbow, and it just looks really sexy. It's perfect if it wasn't for the arms. My second favorite is the Tau cannon, exactly how I would expect it to look like. Could use some bulk, I will admit, but it's pretty solid as it is. And lastly, my beloved satchel charge. My little bomb purse is still in shape, even rocking a new modern detonator. Fancy. Which concludes our look at the HD models. And in conclusion, are the HD models really that bad? No. But they aren't all that good either. It's a mixed bag, and since this is one of the most customizable games ever made, honestly, you do you. Will I be using them? Hell no. But anyway, thanks for bearing through this horror show. And if you're still craving some more, I could look up into the Opposing Force HD models if anyone is interested. Thank you for watching and until never, bye.